understand it. So like I'll go to one of my private lenders. I have private lenders just like you have access to private lenders. And I'll go, hey, I need $100,000 for 3 days. So their money goes to title. This is also another mechanic that a lot of people have a hard time with, right? And there's no books written about this. There's no YouTube videos about this. You'll start seeing me talk about this a lot more, and it's going to be really confusing for people because it's not something that many people have ever done. Okay.
Right.
So the $100,000, $400,000 comes from my investor loan. $100,000 comes from my private money lender. So how much money of that came out of my pocket?
$0.
So all $500,000 are now sitting in the title company waiting for all the disclosures, the notary, and we're waiting to actually close escrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we close escrow. What does title company now do? They record the deed in my name, so now I'm the new owner. And the seller, does the seller receive all $500,000?
No.
No, the seller receives $400,000, and then the other $100,000, which is what the seller is going to refund back to me. That money goes back to my private money lender, and the seller and I create a secondary note and deed of trust and attach it to the property. So now I have a first position with my investor loan. I have a second position with the seller.
Got it.
Okay. And the way I'm structuring that second position note is 0 payments for 5 years. And then when I sell or I refinance the house, that's when I pay that second position off.
Got it. So how does that solve her tax problem?
It doesn't. In that situation, it doesn't.
Right.
Okay. So you'll see the call. I'm going to release the call in the next couple of days. So when I release it, you're going to see that after the seller says, yes, I love this idea, we then get into a 15-minute conversation about her taxes.
Right.
And the conversation with her was, hey, let's get on the phone with my tax attorney, Prime Corporate Services, and my 1031 exchange intermediary, Brandon, and let's all have a conversation about how to structure this properly so that you don't have that tax gain that you really are worried about, and you can still receive that $400,000 down payment rather than just the $100,000 down payment.
Right.
The way we're structuring that, a couple of potential different ways, and I don't want to go into it to confuse you because your seller's not going to have that same concern. Like Wendy's very, very high level, and most sellers, Daryl, they're not going to ask about their tax implications. Yeah. Most of them are not. And every single CPA is going to be different. And every single person you talk to is going to be different as well, right? So we fixed her problem, okay? The biggest problem is she's like, I don't need all of that money unless I have a deal to roll into.
Got it.
Okay. We found her a deal to roll a portion of her money into so that she still satisfies the 1031 exchange and she can peel off $100,000 of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, there's a couple of things I could have done. I could have structured this in 10 different ways, right? Larger down payment, smaller down payment, go to my investor loan for only $250. I could legit go to my investor loan right now, Daryl, and I could ask them for only $100,000 loan in first position on this house. And then she would give me a second position note at $400,000.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Being part of a mastermind or being part of like a collective group where you can have these kind of conversations behind closed doors and nobody else is listening, you can just be honest about stuff and go, yeah, I'm willing to take that risk.
Right.
You have to ask yourself that question. Am I willing to take that risk on this particular property?
Yeah, I definitely think I am because the ARV is like 1.3 million as well. So I have some equity as well.
Why aren't you selling this deal to me?
I want to keep it, bro. I want my first deal, man.
That's I told somebody the other day, I go, the number one problem with being like such a great educator and all these Subto students just crushing it is the first 3 or 4 months of the mentorship, almost 2 years ago, I was just bringing in so many deals because the students were not ready to buy the deals. They were just ready to sign them. And now I'm in a situation where I'm like, where are all the deals? And it's because badasses like you are now taking down $800,000 houses using the Morby method. You wouldn't have even known this a year ago. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Now you're ready to take it down. I love it.
Not at all. I didn't even know what real estate with wholesaling was a year ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. But I still need to sell you a deal. I'm working those lists that
No,
you
bro, you
just
do what you're
provided.
gonna do. You provide so much value in the community. Like, I'm glad that we got to have this one-on-one call, and
For sure.
yeah. And what I'll end up doing is I'll probably cut a piece of this out just to like help other people explain this, because
Yes.
so many people are like, "What's the Morby method? What's going on? Why didn't you have a longer video?"